Hello, my name is New, and today I just want to ask the question. This is a question I think we're all asking is, what is the MCU doing with the X-Men? For those of you who don't know, back in the 90s, Marvel was like going bankrupt or something, so they sold their movie rights to other studios. They sold Spider-Man to Sony, Hulk and Namor to Universal, and the X-Men and Fantastic Four to Fox. So that's why the MCU can use X-Men and Fantastic Four. And they are only allowed to use Spider-Man when Sony lets them. So that's why, like, eventually we got him in the MCU with Tom Holland. And they're allowed to use Hulk and Namor, but they're not allowed to, like, make movies about them. So Fox was making movies about the X-Men and Fantastic Four that were not connected to the MCU. But back in 2017, Disney bought Fox. Since Marvel is also owned by Disney, then that meant that the MCU was able to use X-Men and Fantastic Four, and people were excited. But it has been over 7 years, and we're still confused with how the X-Men are gonna be introduced in the MCU. We have a Fantastic Four movie that's coming out in 2025 next year, and it's going to be directed by Matt Shackman. But like, we still don't know the cast. Like, we always get like rumors every other week, but we still have not gotten any announcements. The thing is, with Fantastic Four, it's easier to introduce since it's only just four people, but with X-Men, it's a whole ass race, so they have to introduce the concept of mutants, and I just wonder, how are they gonna make it so that mutants have already existed? Like, is this gonna be a new thing, or is it gonna be a retcon? The MCU has kind of introduced mutants with Miss Marvel and Namor, but I'm wondering, do people know about mutants or have they been hiding for centuries? Something I also am wondering about is, you know how X-Men are an allegory for racism since like humans hate them and think they're dangerous? How the fuck are they gonna do that? The Avengers already exist and the public loves them. Like, what's the difference between the X-Men and the Avengers? Why would people love the Avengers or Spider-Man or any other hero with powers, but the mutants are hated for their powers? It just wouldn't make sense. Like I said before, MCU is kind of slowly introducing mutants like Miss Marvel and Namor. But what they're also doing is bringing in characters from the Fox movies via multiverse. First, they kind of brought back Evan Peters' Quicksilver and WandaVision, but that was just a cop out, and he ended up being some cunt named Ralph Boner. And then in Doctor Strange 2, Patrick Stewart as Professor X showed up from another universe. And also in Marvels, they had Beast, played by Kelsey Grammer, show up. That Beast was only in X-Men 3, and he was in Days of Future Past as a cameo. And like, I think he was from that universe, I'm not sure. Yeah, I didn't bother seeing the Marvels because I'm sexist, so like I have no idea why it was there. So is like that just what they're gonna do? Is Marvel just gonna bring mutants through the multiverse? Because that would be fucking stupid. I think what's gonna answer this question is Deadpool 3. If you don't know, Deadpool 3 is bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and other characters from the X-Men universe, and maybe from other Fox movies supposedly, and this is going to be like a multiverse movie that's apparently going to be what explains how the mutants show up in the MCU. I'm kind of conflicted. As much as I'm excited to see Deadpool and Wolverine on the big screen, I feel like this movie might just be a huge cameo fest filled with fan service. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and the fan service can be done well and not in shit taste like in The Flash. So I guess we can wait for Deadpool 3 for all the answers. We're also getting a continuation of the 90s X-Men animated series coming out on Disney Plus. And I don't know if this is gonna connect to the MCU in a multiverse way, and I kinda don't want it to, since not everything has to be connected or lead up to some big event. It could just be its own thing. I just wonder why the fuck is Marvel just taking so long with doing X-Men shit. I heard people say it's because they already have had plans for other movies, but personally, if I was Kevin Feige, the second Disney bought Fox, I would already start development on a bunch of X-Men and Fantastic Four projects, and I would push aside all the other shit. Like, come on, who cares about shit like Black Widow, Eternals, Ant-Man, The Marvels, Thunderbolts, Secret Invasion, Echo, What If, the Agatha show, and fucking Ironheart, when you got like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and like fuck using Kang as the big bad. You can use Doctor Doom, Magneto, Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, and Galactus as the next big bads. Also, apparently there's a contract where they can't recast X-Men characters from previous movies until 2025, which I don't know about, but like, couldn't they just make a Fantastic Four movie earlier, since I don't think they were involved in that contract? I don't know. Also, another question about the X-Men is, what's the roster gonna look like? Is Wolverine gonna be a part of it, or are they gonna save him for later? I've seen people say that they should use the original first class of X-Men from the comics, which are Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Angel, and Iceman. Personally, I don't think they should use the original roster because they are fucking boring. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but I will stand by the opinion that they are lame, and the team became better in the 70s when they added people like Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, and Colossus. Something about the original X-Men roster that I noticed, and I don't know if anyone else has pointed it out, is that they are basically just the Fantastic Four, except they were born with their powers, and there are five of them, and they have an old man who's their professor, and it's like a school. Like, I can't be the only one who thinks that, like, Cyclops is Mr. Fantastic, Jean Grey is Invisible Woman, Beast is the Thing, Iceman is the Human Torch, and Angel exists. Also, Magneto is kinda like their Doctor Doom. I'ma just say it. X-Men got better when Stan Lee stopped writing for them, which might be controversial, I don't know. Maybe the roster can be based on the animated series roster? You know, you as long as they use the essential X-Men members and also mutants that are interesting, I think it could be good. So anyways, this is just my little rant. Hopefully we'll get announcements for a new X-Men movie by next year, or maybe Deadpool 3 brings mutants in the MCU. Whatever it is, as long as the story is good, I'm happy. Now, what do you guys think Marvel's gonna do? Or what do you think would be the best way to introduce mutants in the MCU? Let me know in the comment section down below so I can get that sweet engagement. My name's Noob, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.